just entered the field with some extremely powerful innovation. Now Bard is accessible in up to 230 countries, and in addition to that, Bard speaks up to 30 languages. So not only can you input your mother tongue into Google's Bard, it can also respond to you in your mother tongue. In addition to that, Google's Bard is able to actually speak its responses out loud. So for those of you who prefer to have your answers read out loud to you, now the time has come for you to use Bard and get exactly what you want. So we're going to get started with how to access Bard from any normal browser. I've decided to use Google Chrome because I'm using Google's Bard, so inherently it seems a little bit more efficient. And a disclaimer on this choice, I was using Safari and I had difficulty seeing Bard's responses even though it was responding. And when I logged into Chrome, I could see its responses, and I'm not sure if it was an error on Safari's part or that my browser was outdated, but I would highly suggest using Google Chrome when using a Google product. So first we'll type in Google, and it'll take us to Google. And right here, you can see it says to try Bard. But what I'm going to do is go to the normal Google page so that everyone can get there in the same way and fashion. From the normal Google page, type in Bard, and the first link will come up, bard.google.com. Now when you get to Bard, it'll come up just like this, except your chats won't be pinned on the side just yet. Notice that when you highlight a chat, you can unpin it, you can pin it, and when you pin it, it allows you to change the title. Another thing is that you go here and you can hide your menu. Small updates, but those are recent updates about Bard. If we look at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see the area to enter your prompt, the area to use the microphone to speak to Bard, and the area to upload your files. With Bard, you can use JPEGs, PNGs, and WebPs. Not as many files as Claude 2, however, Bard allows you to upload JPEGs while Claude 2 does not. One thing to note is that you will need a Google account in order to use Bard. So if you don't have one, create a Google account first, and then go to Google, and then go to Bard and connect your accounts. So one of the first things I'm going to show about Bard today is its ability to analyze photographs and give information about that photograph. Considering that Bard uses JPEGs, and a lot of the other programs are not able to use JPEGs yet, this is a special feature that you would have to go to Bard for. Now, you come down to the upload file section, click upload file, and whatever file you're searching for, you'll be able to pull it directly from your Finder or your file section if you've got like a PC or something that's not a Mac. After you've uploaded the photo, it gives you the option to still type in your prompt. Now we can see here, this is the photo that I've uploaded. Let's pretend that I don't know anything about it and follow through with my prompt to see what Bard says. The prompt: tell me about this photo and the history of it. I'm going to have it on the wall during my business meeting with a Chinese client, and I'd like him to know I respect and care about his culture. This is Bard's response. The image you sent me is a painting of Guanyin, the Buddhist goddess of mercy, riding a dragon. It is a common depiction of Guanyin and her Chinese art and has a rich history. All of this is just Bard telling me information based off of the prompt that I've put in. I'm getting details not only about the entity in the photo, but all of the aspects that are in the photo and how they relate to Chinese culture. I think this is absolutely fantastic. We'll continue on and see what it says. Bard thinks the painting I sent is beautiful. It's a traditional depiction of Guanyin riding a dragon. It would be a great way to show your client that you respect and care about his culture. The image would also be a good conversation starter, and it can help you build a nice rapport with your client. Here's some additional details about the image. The woman in the painting is wearing a white robe, which is a symbol of purity and enlightenment. She's holding a lotus flower in her right hand, which is a symbol of purity and rebirth. The dragon is green, which is a symbol of growth and prosperity. The painting is set against a backdrop of clouds, which represents the heavens. And it tells me it hopes this information is helpful. Now, if we look at the details in this photograph, I think it's actually amazing that it was able to pick out the dragon, her white clothes, the cloud backdrop, and all those other details, including what's in her hand. And if I scroll down to my next response based off of Bard's response to my first prompt I see here. Now translate those additional details into Mandarin and let me hear you speak them to ensure that I've got the best possible pronunciation. We're going to go up to the top right corner of this box where you see this microphone. We're going to click listen and we can hear Bard speak the English, what's written in English, and the Mandarin, what's written in Mandarin.
Sure, here are the additional details about the image in Mandarin.
画中女子穿着白色长袍，象征住纯洁和觉悟。我双安 z 出安 j 白色长袍，双张 j 长 j 啊黑珠物。她右手拿住莲花，象征住纯洁和重生。她右手拿 j 莲我，双张 j 长 j 啊黑重生。龙是绿色的，象征住成长和繁荣。龙是 LC 的，双张 j 张张黑繁荣。画面背景是云彩，代表住天空。我们
It may not be the authentic Mandarin that you would hear someone in the country speak. However, it does a great job at pronunciating all of the different words in both English and Mandarin. And just for the example of other languages, I'm going to ask it to translate the same information into Spanish. You'll notice when Bard's generating its response, it doesn't type it out like a lot of the other programs does. This little star right here will just circle around and you'll have to be patient and then bam, it'll pop out its answer. So here we go. It's translated everything into Espanol. And I'm going to click listen again so we can hear just a short example of what Bard does with the Spanish.
Sure, here are the additional details about the image in Spanish.
La mujer en el cuadro lleva una túnica blanca, que simboliza la pureza y la iluminación. En su mano derecha sostiene una flor de loto, que simboliza la pureza y el renacimiento. El dragón es verde, lo que simboliza el crecimiento y la prosperidad. El fondo del cuadro es de nubes, que representan el cielo.
And that is just an example of what Bard can do with its responses out loud and how it can manage multiple different languages and how it can analyze a photograph and pull information out of it relevant to the task at hand for you. Another lesson with Google's Bard. This time, we're going to go into how Bard can write code and create charts in its own interface. My question, my prompt for Bard today was, give me an exportable code to create a galleria of videos into my WordPress website. Also include a chart and table graphic that shows me how much more effective it is to have videos and photos of yourself for website selling services. The response that Bard creates was here. You can see the code that it's giving me. And it says this code will create a galleria of videos with 560 by 315 pixel size. The videos will be embedded from their URLs and they will be responsive so that they will resize to fit the width of the container. All of that has been done by Bard instead of me having to hire a code writer, a developer, or experimenting all day using WordPress. In a matter of seconds, I've actually got the portion for my website that I needed. The second part of my question is to create a chart and table for me to understand how effective it is to have photos and videos of myself. And we look here. The chart that it's created is not the most impressive chart. However, the chart and the table in combination do absolutely achieve the goal of teaching me the information that I was seeking for. And you see here, videos and photos versus no videos or photos. 78% for videos and photos and 22% for no videos and photos. What does this mean? Well, on this table below, we've got the metric and then two columns, one for videos and photos, one for no videos and no photos. The conversion rate when you have videos and photos is 78% versus 22% with no videos and photos. And when you have a higher conversion rate, it also increases the average order value. Here they're selling 2 times as much having the photos and videos. The conversion rate is also more than double the normal conversion rate without any images of the seller. The last difference, the last metric that the table delivers is the customer satisfaction metric. Even though this metric isn't as significant of a difference in percentage, 10% still makes a difference. So with photos and videos, you've got a 95% customer satisfaction rate, and without them, it's only at 85%. Without me diving into this chart and figuring it out for myself, I can actually look right below and Bard delivers and enter for me that synthesizes my answer quickly. As you can see, having videos and photos of yourself on your website can significantly increase your conversion rate, average order value, and customer satisfaction. This is because videos and photos will help build trust and credibility with potential customers. I'm getting information that I didn't ask for, yet, even though I didn't ask directly for it, it's responding with a response that allows me to accomplish my goal, which was to add photos and videos and to understand why I'm doing that. Here I can see there's a good reason because the conversion rate, the order, average, value, and the customer satisfaction rate are all a lot higher. In addition to that, it's telling me about the credibility that comes with adding photos and videos, and also the benefit of those photos and videos being able to showcase my personality and expertise. And if your website is focused around you and you're selling a service, well, here's a great way to get enhanced tools on making your website, your business, and whatever you're seeking to do just a little bit more better. At the end of each response, whenever Bard uses sources, it cites it right here, and we can always go to one of these links, click it, and check out the page to sift through the link and the information ourselves and decide whether or not we want to trust the response that we've been given. Now, since we're at the bottom of the screen where the sources are, you can also see some more options that we haven't yet to speak about. First, I can let Google and Bard know if this was a good response or a bad response. This one was definitely a good response. Now you see here, I can modify the response. What does this look like? I can shorten my response, I can make it longer, I can make it simpler, more casual, or more professional. Let's check it out if I click more professional, how it regenerates this response. Now the code and chart in a more professional format. It's dropped the chart here. It's giving me a significantly better chart than the last chart. It doesn't have as many questions. This chart includes conversion rates, average order value, and customer satisfaction. And then I'm getting an explanation of the chart. So the next prompt that I'm going to deliver today with Google Bard is something simple, a question that allows Bard to show me how it can maximize on just a small question versus an extremely detailed and specific goal. The prompt that I've chosen is the best yoga stretches for daily long distance drivers. And I purposely didn't make it grammatically complex. I just wanted to see what Bard could do with me giving it the least amount of context. And here's this response, which is actually quite profound. Some of the best yoga stretches for long distance daily drivers. You see here, this is very different from many of the other tools. Claude 2 and ChatGPT, for example, don't often give you photos, or they may not even be able to give you photos without paying for the advanced version and having certain plugins. Yet with Bard, I'm getting the question answered with text, and in addition to that, I'm getting a photo that shows me how I can practice what I'm seeking. In this case, it's yoga poses, but as we see here, it explains the seated cat-cow pose. It gives me a photograph and description of the child's pose. It gives me the chest stretch photo and description, and the neck stretch photo and description. And it just keeps going on. What happens if I click the photo? It opens up a new tab, takes me to where it actually got the photo. In this case, it was on Pinterest. And here I have the option to do what I want with the photo. I could share it, I could save it, I could expand it. We'll go back to the Bard chat, scroll down here, and we'll see at the end that it's done some additional tips in addition to just answering the questions. Here it says these are just a few of the many yoga stretches that can help to relieve tension and improve flexibility for long distance drivers. And then it continues to go on and add some additional tips for doing yoga stretches while driving. And then lastly, it gives me a cool little synopsis on yoga and how it can be a great way to stay healthy and prevent pain while driving long distances. All of this from the simple few word prompt, the best yoga stretches for daily long distance drivers. Now, maybe for some of you, this answer is a little bit too long and you didn't need all that information. How can we get around that? Well, right here at the bottom, you can choose from the options that Google's given you. I can like or dislike this response, let it know if it's good or bad. I can see share and export right here, so I can share and export this response if I want to, or I could go and open up Google by clicking Google it and get related searches. But to modify my response, I'm going to open this window and choose between more professional, more casual, simpler, longer, or shorter. How about we make it shorter? Bard's going to load its response. It doesn't type it out. It's going to give me the whole response at once. And boom, here we go. This time, it answered the prompt without those extra helpful tips at the bottom. In addition to that, it does look like it gave me less examples of poses. Now, Bard is quite capable, as you can see. It's super special and it's super specific in its abilities to do things that other AI programs can't do. I've taught you today how to upload photos to Bard, how to talk to Bard and have those photos be analyzed. I've showed you how to get code and see that Bard can use code and it can export it. You can copy and paste it. I've also shown you how you can get charts and graphs out of Bard. And I've shown you that Bard can generate multiple different languages, from English to Mandarin to Spanish, and even speak those languages to you. Also giving you context behind those languages and why what's significant to them is significant for them. If these aren't amazing uses for AI, then I don't know what is. And remember, this is just the beginning. We've got more lessons about more things that Bard can do. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you experience this for yourself and get blown away.